All natural surfaces need to be maintained, and stone is no different. The more effort you put into looking after it, the better it's going to look and the longer it's going to last. That's why we encourage people to consider resealing their product. They may consider rehoning their product, but regular cleaning with the right materials is also an important part of the care and maintenance regime.
It does depend on the stone and the client's expectations of what they're expecting the stone to look like. So some clients, for example, would prefer the stone to look exactly the same way as the day it went in, whereas other clients are happy for stone to develop a patina over time through use and changes from the marks and scratches and what have you that might occur through daily use.
Natural stone can develop a patina over time. Anyone that's walked down the streets of Rome has seen travertine that's been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it's beautiful. Sometimes we become too precious about natural stone surfaces and every little scratch or mark is a major problem. But a well-used kitchen that has seen a lot of love and laughter is a fantastic surface and something that we should be proud of.
Having said that, you still need to seal them and look after them. So sealing is an important part of natural stone insofar as that it just makes the material easier to look after and maintain, which helps limit or reduce common sort of things like, for example, acid etching and oils. The types of sealers also dictate how often you need to maintain or reseal. For example, you've got a surface seal, penetrating sealer, and also what we describe as topical sealers. A penetrating sealer is something that we'd offer most of our clients to be used in a general domestic sort of environment, where it maintains the colour tone and texture of the stone and doesn't change it. The surface sealer is typically like a lacquer. You often see it on things like slate and other stones that are quite dense. It does change the colour tone and texture of the stone, which is not ideal for those looking to keep the stone in its most natural sort of look. The third type, the topical sealer, is something that typically is used commercially. For example, you might be doing an entry foyer, you might have a variety of natural stones on the floor, and you also need to retain something like, for example, a slip rating on the stone. A topical sealer is a mixture that's specific to that particular area, let's say. The sealers are generally applied by either yourself or you can get a professional applicator to do it for you, depending on the area that you're doing. So like, for example, kitchen bench tops are pretty straightforward, whereas floors over larger areas, it might be better to get a professional to do. And then reapplication down the track might be something that you could do, provided you pay attention when they're doing it themselves and read, obviously, the instructions that come with the sealer that you choose to use. At Artidomus, we offer a range of services, giving you an idea as to what's the best sealer. We can often provide samples that have already got a sealer applied to them to help you understand both the performance of the stone with the sealer on and also to illustrate how easy it is to apply the sealer.
It's important to remember that most cleaning products from the supermarket have either a caustic or an acidic base to them. Both of these things can contribute to depleting the effectiveness of the sealing of the natural stone, and they should really be avoided as much as possible. The best thing to clean natural stone with is water and a microfiber cloth, but a pH neutral cleaner is also a very suitable product to use. People think that by sealing stone they've protected it against all sorts of damage, and they have to a certain extent. But as I've said to a few people in the showroom before, if you spilt red wine on your carpet, you'd wipe it up. You wouldn't wipe it up tomorrow or the next day or the day after. Leaving contaminants on the surface of stone for long times will damage the product.
When you do get a spill or you do mark your stone, the critical thing is to clean it up as quickly as humanly possible. But don't worry too much because there's lots of different ways of repairing natural stone. If you do, let's say, leave something on it, like let's say some oil, that can be extracted over time. Everything in a natural stone fundamentally can be repaired. If it's not something local and something that you can apply yourself, you may need to get the stone rehoned, which is something that's been done for thousands of years.
The primary thing people need to understand when looking after natural stone is that acid can attack the surface of stone even when it's really well sealed. So spills of acidic products like alcohols, vinegars, citric juices can attack the surface of the stone and take the hone or the polish off it leaving ring marks or splatter marks that can't be easily removed.
So with different spills and different marks, things like scratches, let's say, and acid burns, they're the sorts of things that need perhaps a more physical abrasion or some sort of honing to resurface the material. This is typically done by a stonemason and not to be done by yourself, although if you were pretty handy, you could try using some wet and dry sandpaper, for example, to reduce the effect. Over time though, a lot of these different marks and stains can dissipate through capillary forces. So if you're one that's looking for the stone to develop a patina, quite often just removing the stain immediately, over time, something like that can dissipate. Because even in your hands, for example, you've got oils in them. Using your hands across the surface of the stone or moving objects across the surface of the stone contribute to rehoning the surface of the stone. With natural stone, it's a very dense and durable material. It is relatively brittle, so things like, for example, chipping and cracks are things that can occur when the stone is not used properly. So when you design your benchtop, or you have a designer or an architect to design your benchtop, you do need to think about things like edging. But one way of kind of dealing with these things is to round the edge to limit the amount of damage that can be caused when you do have contact between, let's say, something like a bottle or a plate hitting the side of your benchtop.
All natural stone is porous, so when it comes to site, it has inherent porosity. You need to take care when handling it. You also need to consider the moisture content and the glues and where that's going to escape from underneath the stone once it's been installed. Common problems such as pixel framing are caused by the moisture having no place to go other than up and through the tiles and out through the edges.
When a client has had some marks or some damage, they're welcome to call Artodomus. And Artodomus will typically either give some suggestions that they can try themselves. If not, we'll refer you on to someone that can help further, for example, a professional sealer and cleaner, to ensure that you get the best result possible.
At Artodomus, we're always happy to help people learn how to look after their natural stone surfaces. We've been doing this for a very long time. We also have a long experience in installing natural stone, and that experience helps us to help our customers to get a better result on their projects.